Don't want no drama, don't want no drama. I'm counting honest, blue face, big honest.
What's up, and welcome to the first episode of Ray and Jay Slay Anime. Name's a work in progress, but the first anime to be slayed today is Rise of the Shield Hero. And just to start off with introductions, I'm Jay. That's Ray. Say what's up, Ray.
What's up, man?
And, as you can see, we're in the kitchen right now. Still trying to figure out a good spot to film this, up in our video recording game and stuff. And I'm peeking like really bad right now. Let's turn that down a little bit. All right. So like I said, the first anime on the docket we're going to go through is Rise of the Shield Hero. I'm still peeking. That's crazy. Wow. Oh, let me try to turn this down just a little bit. See if that helps. Alright, there we go. It's a shonen anime, which will explain a lot of stuff later. This is going to be a spoiler podcast, so if you don't like spoilers and you'd rather watch the show first, I advise you to do that. It's actually pretty good. The manga was written by Tendu Akano. Let's see if it shows where the studio is Kinema Citrus, and I guess DR Movie Studio is doing season 2. And just a plot synopsis. You want to go through the plot synopsis?
Yeah, sure.
Naofume Iwatani. I'm going to butcher these names. That's just a little background first. Ray's the anime guy. I've had more years of watching anime than Ray, but Ray has watched more anime than I have. So he's the anime guy. He's the, what's the term for it?
Otaku.
That's right. So basically, Naofume and 3 other people. Let's see. I'm sorry. I'm also horrible with names. That's why I'm going through this, and it doesn't give the rest of their names. Do you remember their names?
Actually, I'm not even gonna lie. I haven't watched it since I'd say it's been 5 months. But cool. Yeah, I can really, if I rewatched it 3 times. That's how good I thought it was. If I watched one episode, then everything will come back to me, basically.
So you got Naofume, who's the main hero. He's the shield hero. Then you got Motoyasu Kitamura. That's the spear hero, the idiot. Rin Amaki, that's the sword hero. And Itsuki Kawasumi. I'm hoping I have that all correct. And then you have the king, the queen, and the princesses. I'm looking for their names right now. No, not Glass. That's one of the... Alright, so you got Melty Q Melromark. That's the second princess, and she's the heir to the throne. I'm sorry, I should have had this. Mirelia Melromark, that's the queen. Oh, you got Erhard. That's an important character. That's the local blacksmith. Um, dang, I wish they had this kind of in better order. I figured it would have them in better order, but maybe they listed them in the. You got Philo. That's the bird girl. She's a little girl, turns into a bird, or the other way around. Um, the Filolio Queen, or the next in line to be the Filolio Queen. Raftalia, that's the half raccoon demi-human. Um, get out of this real quick. Tagging this. Then you got Malty, that's the name I was looking for, the first princess. And then the dad Maud. No. I'm sorry. Demon Dragon Emperor, no. It doesn't have his name, but he's not really that important.
Yeah,
Just call him the king.
I was gonna say I don't really think they say his name that much. Yeah, basically.
So we'll start off with the first episode, with just the introductory episode, where Naofume, I believe. Let me make sure. I just want to make sure we get these. Yep, Naofume. He gets transported along with 3 other heroes to this alternate dimension.
Yeah, he just opens a book and basically just hops right in it. I really, when I seen that, I was like, well, obviously it's in a second anime, and I was like, well, maybe it's good because I really like those. So, and when I didn't really. Did they even show like how the other 3 got in? Was it
No.
they didn't? Okay, yeah. I don't recall them being
Basically, when he got summoned, they were already there. So he gets summoned along with the 3 other heroes. Find out that they're part of this quadruplet team of heroes that's supposed to save this kingdom. But because he gets branded with the shield. He gets branded with the shield, which is considered the weakest of heroes. Basically, the world is, how can I put this best? I was thinking about it just a second ago, but it's a RPG slash multiplayer game. Is basically what it is, with some PvE, PvP elements. And to me, it was crazy, and it almost turned me off in the first episode watching it, because it's like, who's never ever played an RPG game? I mean, it wasn't like he never played a game before. He, literally said, got the concept of the world eventually. So he's had to play video games before. So for him to not understand a lot of the things that was going on, especially in the first episode, threw me for a loop, where I'm sitting there like, you can't be this stupid. And it almost made me stop watching the animators, but I'm glad that I pushed forward with it. So in retrospect, just before we jump right into all the spoilers and the things that we liked and things that we didn't like, episode 1, I'd say, as far as, because that was the longest episode. That was like an hour long,
like 20 something minutes.
Yeah, like an hour and 20 minutes. It was the longest episode, and the beginning of that episode almost made me turn it off. But then it picks up once Naofume gets accused of raping the first princess, Malty.
It wasn't Malty.
It was Malty.
Oh yeah, that's right. I'm tripping. I'm thinking about the princess with the blue hair.
Yeah,
you're right.
Malty's the one with the red hair, isn't she?
Yeah, and I forgot they changed their names. Oh my god, I shouldn't be addressing that. I'm already spoiling it. Oh my gosh.
We'll get there. that part was funny, but yeah, he gets accused of raping Malty, which I could kind of understand why everyone kind of fell for it. You know, it was one of those things, a woman claimed rape, so they kind of went with, oh, she has to be telling the truth, why would she lie? And then they found she planted a bra or a corset or something in his room. So I kind of was like, okay, now I'm getting interested in it. You know, how's he gonna respond? And then he kind of takes this, okay, no one likes me, they all hate me approach. So kind of like screw everybody.
Yeah.
You know.
She even took his money. I was like,
took his money and his armor and everything.
I was like, okay. For me, like it was like the whole opposite of you. When I like first seen it, he goes in the world, did all this other stuff. Every other characters are like from different types of eras. It didn't make me want to turn it off. Like I wanted to keep watching it because when I turn on the anime, it has to be like very trash for me to just turn it off and not watch it again. But when she stole everything and he just like even got accused of rape, he went to the throne room. He was like, he even threw the change out of the change that was left in his shield. I was like, oh yeah, that means he finna come back and he's gonna get down to business.
Yeah, that's what made. I was like, oh, okay. Let's see if he just goes crazy on everybody. But like I said, the thing that irked me was everybody else in the group got it almost immediately. Okay, this is based on the video game. Everyone, like Ray said, they're all from different dimensions. It's not like just different time periods. They're all from different dimensions. So it's multiverse theory. So they're all from different universes, basically. So in one universe, this person became president, but in another universe, this person became president, stuff like that. At the same time, the histories are different. So for everyone else to have understood what was going on and for the main hero to be the one that's lost, like, because typically your main protagonist is supposed to kind of help the audience understand what's going on. You know what I mean? Understand like the world, like Star Wars. Luke Skywalker is basically the vessel for the audience, especially in the first one, as he's learning about the world outside of Tatooine and the ways of the Force and all that. The audience is learning that as well. Well, most of your audience has played an RPG. So for your main protagonist to be sitting there trying to figure out, oh, how does this work? Oh, how does that work? Oh, this is like that. And everybody else is understanding it. But the main protagonist, to me, it was like, that's kind of irksome. It irked the hell out of me because, like, I get it. Let's move on. They should have, hey, this is like an RPG. Okay, I get it. Boom.
Well,
what are the specific rules? It wasn't just that they had to explain the specific rules. They had to basically explain RPGs in general.
Well, see, look. Later down the line, you'll realize that Naofumi, when he doesn't know how to do all that other stuff, but the other players, they going around doing stuff, like basically thinking it's RPG, and you'll learn that it's not like a RPG, but it is. You feel me? Why am I doing that again? I'm going into more episodes. I'm sorry. I'm going into more episodes.
Right. It's not like it's not an RPG. Basically, what Ray is saying is that you find out that even though the world is based around RPG mechanics, it's still real life. People are dying, and if they die there, they're dead for real. There's no coming back. There's no extra lives. There's no continues. So that's what Ray is trying to say. What I'm saying, though, is just the fact of RPG mechanics are RPG mechanics. That's like saying if you got dropped into NBA 2K or something, or a basketball game, it was like, okay, you should know your way around this. The other character shouldn't have to tell you how to play basketball. That's what I'm saying. It seemed to me like everyone had to explain to Naofume how to operate in an RPG world. And it wasn't until later where he kind of starts figuring stuff out on his own, that it's like, okay, but when I'm saying that the way it's presented, like I said, the main protagonist is supposed to be it's supposed to be basically the thing that helps the viewer understand what your world is trying to convey, what you're trying to convey to the audience. It's like any fish out of water story. Hey, this is how this world works. Well, if most of your audience already knows, it would have been like if they took Luke from A New Hope in the first, well, I guess it's technically episode 4, and then in episode 5, The Empire Strikes Back, and they're explaining the Force again on how the Force works and yada yada yada. But they, it's not that they expanded, because what they did was they took what Luke already knew, what he learned from Obi-Wan, and then Yoda expanded upon that and taught Luke something new. Now take that scenario where, all right, we know how the Force works from episode 4, and then in episode 5, you're explaining it to us again. It's like, we don't need to know how the Force works based on most people seen episode 4. Most people played an RPG. Most people that's going to watch this have played an RPG. So we don't need you to explain to us how an RPG works. Just tell them, hey, this works like an RPG. Boom, keep it pushing. Now, how does this specific RPG world function? Because, different, like Skyrim, is different from Dragon's Dogma. Yeah, they're both RPGs, but their worlds function differently. But if you tell me that, hey, I'm playing Skyrim, here, Justin, play Dragon's Dogma, I'm going to figure out how that world works based on my knowledge of how Skyrim works. Because, I know that, there's going to be stats. Items are going to have stats, different power levels, yada, yada, yada. Okay, now what items do what? What magic powers do what? What, dot, 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 dot. That's what they should have went with, other than trying to explain to him what an RPG is.
But it was actually good that he didn't know anything about RPGs. Actually, very good. But I think the writer was really going for, like, when I watch an anime like that, I picture myself as the main character, like, seriously. And so, and when he started at level 1, when he first started, he went to the blacksmith, and he really didn't have no change, no bread, none of that. And I really like that blacksmith. Like, he gave him that cloak, everything. And then he went to go grind, like they do in RPGs. They start grinding for levels, points. He sold the little, what were those things called? The rubber, whatever those things is.
That's what they called them in the show.
He used those, oh my god, he used those on that one guy. He I thought he was going to turn evil.
The thing is, right, you say you put yourself in the main protagonist's shoes.
Mm-hmm. Always.
Now, in that scenario, had you dropped into that world, we were both in that world, would I then have to explain to you what the hell an RPG is?
Well, so, yes. If I put myself in the RPG suit, I'm going to be him. I won't know anything but whatever he knows. I gotta, like, when I see myself as him, you gotta, like, do you understand what I'm saying? Like, cause if he was like, okay, so
you saying that basically you become that character. What I'm saying to you is, I don't become that character. I see through that character's eyes. I see what they see. I feel what they feel. But if you telling me that character does not know what the hell an RPG is, you've already thrown me for a fucking loop.
It's all in the plot, man. It's all in the plot. Cause now I'm gonna jump a few episodes. I know we shouldn't do this, but I'm going to. So those guys were treating like that world like a RPG, all right? And guess what? You got a pandemic. what else? What was that giant? You had like a food problem. What was that? That was like a giant fruit that one spear guy did. Yeah, that guy's an idiot.
I said he was an idiot because he jumped.
We got the two idiots that over there overseas starting wars.
What I'm saying, I understand that the world technically was not an RPG, but the world ran based on a lot of RPG mechanics. So that's what I mean when I say that they should have just been able to tell him, this world runs based on RPG mechanics, right? Now, instead of explaining to him how an RPG functions, explain to him how this particular RPG functions.
But then if he would have did that, if they would have did that, he would have just became just like them.
No.
He probably, yes, yeah, I'm telling you. Yes.
You gotta remember, it wasn't just the fact that he didn't know what an RPG was. It was the fact that he was ostracized. You gotta remember, when he got there, he was already ostracized for having the shield and him being considered the weakest out of the bunch. Then he gets accused of rape, and everybody believes he's a rapist. So now he loses everything. He's basically banished.
Besides the blacksmith, that's why the blacksmith was cool. Yeah,
you know, the blacksmith looked into his eyes and was like, "Okay, yeah, I see. They just fuck with you. You know, they took someone who was gullible and did you dirty." So outside of that, that's what I'm saying. If you take that into account, he would still eventually become the hero that he became.
What makes you say that?
Because the thing that made him the hero that he became wasn't the fact that he didn't know what an RPG was. It was the fact that he was ostracized. That's what led him down the path of, okay, screw these guys, I'm gonna figure it out on my own, type of thing. I'm not doing this for y'all. I just want to go home. So that means that I have to figure out how all this works.
Wouldn't that just make him, okay, again, back to what I was pointing at, wouldn't that just make him have another mistake, just like all those other guys made a mistake? Wouldn't he make a mistake too? He would make us, yeah.
He made mistakes though.
Yeah, but not as big as theirs though.
I understand that, but he was more compassionate than they were. When I say, and the reason why think about it, say that the rape allegations never happened and he never got ostracized.
Then he would just turn out to be one of them.
He would. Thank you. That's what I'm saying. It was the fact that he got ostracized is what turned him into that. He started paying more attention to detail, to how things were ran. He cared more about people because of how he was treated. It wasn't the fact that he didn't know or knew how an RPG works. It was the fact that these people over here treated me like crap.
Yeah.
So I'm going to do basically what I can within reason to help everyone that I can. He didn't have a hero complex. They took that from him. If you take away the fact that he was ostracized, he would have still had a hero complex, but he wouldn't have known how the world works because he doesn't know how RPGs are.
Okay, I got a question for you then. So if he knew about anything about RPG, would he have met Raftalia?
Yeah.
I don't think so. What would you do? Would you still be out there grinding for points, or would you go somewhere and try to get a what was she? Was she like she was a slave? Yeah, she was a slave.
You got to remember, he didn't go looking for Raftalia. The slave master found him and offered Raftalia too. Basically, hey, let me help you out to get someone in your party. He was still out there grinding. And the slave dude came to him. So yeah, he still would have found Raftalia in the end.
Yeah, that's actually right. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Alright, so moving on. Now, in all fairness, I literally just watched this from episode 1 to episode 24. Ray hasn't watched it in a while, so there's details that's still fresh in my mind that he's probably, like I said, he watches so much anime, he moved on to something else. So
I'm watching like 5 at a time.
Yeah, so So moving on from that, so yeah, like we said, he gets ostracized, basically forced out of the guild. Now, what a lot of people don't know, like I said, it's all spoilers, but the king has his own reason for not liking the shield hero, and the princess Melty uses that to her advantage to try to strengthen her position to become the next in line to be queen. Excuse me again, but so he goes out grinding, and like we said, the slave master, I can't remember the guy's name. I don't know if they even gave his name.
Nah.
Excuse me again. Finds Naofume, and that's when he meets Raftalia. Basically, the way it works is he doesn't really have in the beginning, he doesn't really have any offensive capabilities, like almost at all. So he can't really attack anything to level up his to level up his skills or to level up. But he can make potions and all other types of stuff too. So he needs to find someone who can attack for him. So that's when he meets Raftalia. He treats her really good. You know, she was scared that he was going to be another, prick and do her dirty. And then, like, later on, you find out there's a whole background on Raphtalia's people when the first cataclysm hit, which we didn't explain. We got so wrapped up into... oh, I should do a better job moderating. That's my fault. But we should have explained a long time ago that the reason why that the heroes are summoned there is that there's this cataclysm, and there's a dragon hourglass, right? And when the dragon hourglass counts down to the next cataclysm, which is like these rifts in the sky open up, and all these monsters and demons and stuff come raining down, killing everything.
Waves,
the next wave. And so they need the heroes to fight off the waves. So where was I before that?
Yeah, before you get started, I'm already knowing we were talking, when we talk about waves, that just makes me want to talk about when they first started the wave. So we're not gonna get into that yet. I'm already knowing that's what you're gonna say. You were talking about how he found Raftalia, and then he was trying to treat her bad, or you thought he was gonna treat her bad, and then
No, she thought he was gonna treat her bad. Because remember her previous.
I'm already knowing her previous.
Yep. And so ends up being pretty good. Okay, so this is where I'm going to go into another thing I did not like about this show. And it's going to be kind of a rant, so just bear with me. It started to remind me, especially later on, it started to remind me a lot of Naruto.
Here he goes.
And then, hey, Black Clover reminds me a lot of Naruto, but then Shonen, when I said, oh, it's a Shonen, that explains it.
Mm-hmm.
That was why I made that statement, because look at it. He's even though he's sent there, but he's given what's considered the weakest power, that you later find out is probably the strongest power because it has a demon inside of it. Naruto, kid who can't do crap, has a demon inside of him, becomes the strongest person. I mean, the similarities are there. The difference right there, though, where I think Black Clover and Naruto kind of are more similar, is Naruto has a crush on Sakura, but Hinata. Damn, I'm a big Naruto guy too, and I'm slipping names like that. And Hinata likes Naruto, Sakura likes Sasuke. Boom. Black Clover, Asuka likes the priestess, not priestess, but the nun lady from his village. And for some reason, all these other chicks like Asta, and for some reason, neither one of them freaking knuckleheads can figure out that these chicks like them. Anyways, that's besides the fact. In this show, what creeped me out is that Raftalia starts off as a little girl.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
and because she leveled up, she became like a grown woman. But no, Naofume still looks at her like she's a child. Mm-hmm. But yet she wants to jump Naofume's bones. And then you get the same thing with the Filolio featured queen. What was her name?
Philo, yeah.
Philo.
Yeah.
And she stays a little girl.
Yeah.
Like, that was creepy as shit. Like, she's literally just a little girl the whole time. And then she turns into this big feathered monster thing. But she basically looks like a little girl with wings. And she wants to jump his bones, too. And then I think there was one other chick. The princess, the second princess, wants to jump his bones, and she's a little girl.
Yeah, it actually, and there's anime out there that's weird like that. And you'll notice it. Like, it's, I wouldn't say it's a, how do I say this? It's not a trend, but it's like a thing that happens. What is that word I'm looking for? It's not. It's a synonym to natural. Can't really explain it. Just know anime like that. There's like similar.
I know there's a name for it because I looked it up. It was like lolly or something like that.
Yeah, lolly. Yeah, lolly. That's yeah. Some people have those weird fetishes, but it is what it is. I tend to ignore those things. I'll just be like, you know what? Hey, I don't even care about that. This is the badass main character we're talking about. Man.
It was, and it wasn't like, I'm gonna put this like this. Naofume doesn't do anything inappropriate to any of the girls, even the one that he was accused of. Like, he was innocent of that shit. But it's just the fact that it's like the girls are getting mad, especially Raftalia, because he still treats her like a child. Out of all of them, Raftalia kind of makes the most sense because she leveled up and she became an adult. So that was cool eventually after you get past the fact that just a day ago she was a child. But, the other two, it was kind of creepy. I'm going to just put it like that. And that kind of...
Actually, Raftalia is still... She's 15. Yeah, they make her 15. Oh. She just has a grown woman's body, but she's 15.
Well, see, it's still creepy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm sorry, that right there, it just kind of threw. And especially the spear hero, I'm going to look up his name one more time. Because...
I was gonna say back to that Naruto situation with Naofume. I feel like Naofumi it wasn't like in the shield. I think he found that off of the dragon. He got that off the dragon. So I think that the shard that Philo
No, he already had the demon in the shield.
Oh, matter of fact, it was unlocked. Yeah. You're right.
He unlocked it, and then with the demon shard basically added the dragon to it.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
Yeah.
Thinking of that, I think I might when other seasons drop, maybe there's a secret to the other weapons. You think so? Yeah.
But Moto Yasu, like I said, the spear hero, the freaking idiot, he constantly was fawning over Raftalia first, and then Philo after that. Mm-hmm. And like we said, Philo literally looks like a little girl with angel wings.
She's basically a child.
Basically a child. Like, literally, the chick just hatched. And just because he leveled up, and like I said, I guess the world works differently, so they age differently or something, but in my eye, my mind, and especially like I was telling him earlier, just now having my own little girl and seeing some crap like that kind of bothered me a little bit, but that's neither here nor there. Like I said, Naofume, perfect, upstanding gentleman.
I think that happens in damn near every anime, just like beach episodes. I'm pretty sure if anybody clicks on this, you guys know about the beach episodes. Come on, but yeah, it's it just happens, man. It's stuff like that is put in anime, so
yeah.
Just try to ignore it, man.
I could kind of ignore the fact that the little girls was trying to jump Naofume's bones
But if he was to do that, then hell yeah, I'm cutting that off.
Yeah, but that, like I said, I could ignore that part of it. It was the shield hero constantly trying to get Philo and them over on him.
The spirit guy.
Yeah, like, dude, do you not realize that that's a fucking girl? Like,
that's I was like, and then it pissed me off too, cause like they even had a fight. Like,
oh man, so let's get to that. So, Raftalia is basically a slave, but she chooses to be at Neofume's side because even though throughout the show he acts all rough and tough after the whole incident that happens at the very beginning, he's actually a really nice person. Like, he has a good heart. You know, hell, even in the incident where the chick Malty accused him, before that, she was trying to get him to drink with her, and he refused to drink with her simply because he was like, I don't drink. He was like, I'm sorry to refuse to drink with you, but I don't drink. Maybe next time we can have a drink together, you know, one or two or whatever. So he goes straight to sleep. And to top it off, he has already had a crush on Malty before, and he's still upstanding gentleman. You know, she's drinking. He's not going to take advantage of that situation. He goes to sleep and still gets accused of the crap he gets accused of. And then, so Raftalia realizes that he's the shield hero, and there's a legend about the shield hero and demi-humans. That the former shield hero, basically helped out the demi-humans a lot. In another land, I can't remember the name of the other land.
Me either, man.
Off the top of my head, and I didn't see it on the Wikipedia page, but it's basically all demi-humans, and they're the shield heroes revered as a god, which basically is where he was supposed to be summoned to begin with. But, you know, due to some stuff we'll get into later, he ended up summoned in the wrong area. But, so Malty whispers in the spear guy's ears, Latoya, whatever, he doesn't even deserve to be named, honestly, that she knows that he's holding Raftalia against her will, which he really is, technically, but he's not at the same time. And they hold a duel for Raftalia's freedom. Basically, Neofume is whooping the spear guy's ass, wiping the floor with him, and he has no offensive, but he's just outsmarting them the whole time, basically. Mm-hmm. You know, he has like monsters under his coat, and he's using that against them.
When he locked him in that cage.
Yeah, locked him in a cage and had the monsters attacking him and stuff. And he's basically about to win, and then Malty cheats, hits him in the back with some magic.
Me, bro.
And so then they freed Raftalia, and she ends up just staying with Neofume anyway, right? And so you got that happened, which, yeah, that irritated me. It was like, really? Y'all just can't give this guy a break, huh? You got your butt kicked. You know, she's literally saying that he's not holding me prisoner, and that all comes back. Like I said, there's a lot of things. I'm going to say this. The beginning of the anime wasn't the only time I was like, okay, I'm almost done with this shit. Because there's so many times throughout this anime where people just act so stupid. And then you realize towards the end of it why a lot of people acted so stupid. And this is getting, we're almost at 40 minutes. But, so, you got one, I almost said cataclysm again, wave that happens. The first one, and Shield Hero Raftalia, I think that actually happened before the duel, didn't it? Because that was part of the reason why they had the duel, because Raftalia and Neofume got to the wave first and basically saved the town, saved the village, before the other heroes got there. And based on, because everybody was against Neofume at the beginning, he doesn't trust any of them. So He doesn't like any of them. He doesn't trust any of them. He feels like they all turned against him. So yada yada. Past that, actually, the sword hero and the bow hero, at the duel, actually kind of stood up for Naofume and said that Malta cheated.
Yeah, I gave him a little respect after that one. I was like, yeah, he cool. Yeah,
at least they call it how they see it. They might still think that he's a rapist, but it was like, hey, she still cheated. He had you beat. But
the other nobles, it was like higher nobles that was looking at the nobles like they was basically, protecting Monty.
No, it was the king. The king basically told the nobles not to say anything because the sword hero and the bow hero literally said that we saw you cheat.
Yeah.
The nobles saw you cheat, but the king isn't allowing anybody to say anything about it. And you had the Pope there and everything.
It was just basically pointless. It was real pointless.
It was a pointless duel. They should have just did away with it.
But he was getting his ass whooped.
Yeah. It was a cool fight scene. Don't get me wrong. I appreciate the fight scene and everything, but yeah, that. Then the more training, he gets Philo in buys Philo from the
slave trader.
Slave trader, yeah, it was an egg or something that he threw in with something else. Oh, he got the slave tap put back on Raftalia only because she wanted the slave tap put back on
her consent
on her. And so he bought the egg as well.
After he bought that egg.
No,
then,
it was
no. After he bought that egg, and then he it was I was actually I was expecting the egg to be like evolved and then into something even more special. It was just like I honestly expected that, and then I thought it was kind of cool that our guest. Well, actually, I wouldn't say cool. I thought it was confusing. Matter of fact, confusing because the bird turned into a human. I was like, wait, but
so before we get to that, just to say, when I seen the egg, I thought he was going to get like a dragon or something. To be honest with you, I thought it was going to be some big monster thing, but it wasn't. And then it ended up being this bird thing, the Filolio, one of those. I guess you see them around the kingdom pulling carts and stuff. And then the bird thing, they was out at camp, for the night. He passes out, and the Filolio falls asleep across his lap, and wakes up, and she's a little girl just laid across his lap. I thought that was funny because he jumped up like, what the hell's going on? I thought that was pretty funny. Because like I said, that probably would have been my thought too. Like, where the f*** is she come from?
I was still confused. I was like, even more confused.
Yeah, like I said, picture a naked. What she looked like? She was 5 or 6.
Yeah.
Yeah, naked 5 or 6-year-old with wings. You wake up to them just laid across your lap. There you go. So, so he was in a state of shock and confusion, like he didn't know what was going on. I think his first thought was set up again. Probably thought that he was getting set up again, but it wasn't a setup. She was the Filolio thing, and she's actually pretty badass too, honestly. And she turns into the big Filolio thing.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, she. Imagine a giant. How can I put this? A giant, fat, fluffy bird that runs like the Roadrunner from Looney Tunes. That's how she moved. Without the spinning legs, she was like fast, But now to get into a lot of the episodes that didn't pertain to waves or them preparing for the next wave was like them leveling up, and then I think the first one where they ran into an issue where one of the other heroes created was the seed, where the spear hero found a seed for this town that was starving, which technically, as much as it was the spear hero's fault, I didn't think it was his fault that much. Because, you gotta remember, he's an outsider. The town people knew that there was a legend about this seed that grows all this fruit, that it was dangerous and stuff, but they took the seed anyway because the hero brought it to them. And so it caused the town to get these monster plants and stuff like that. The shield hero cleans that up. Then the next thing I think was the dragon. The sword hero killed a dragon, but he didn't dispose of the body. So when the body started decomposing, it started making the townspeople sick in that area. So he had to do that, clean that up, and then they got this back to, I think it was it the wave where he first does unlock the demon power. Basically, he has a demon power in his shield. And it's like demon magic or black magic or something like that makes him basically one of the strongest characters in he makes him stronger than any of the other characters, basically, already. Then he adds in the dragon crystal to the shield, and it gives him like even more rage powers. Yeah. And now he got the dragon talking to him. Curse, that's what it was called. Curse magic. And so add that in, you got the dragon thing talking to him, gave him some freaking, because the next wave they was fighting, which was crazy because he was like trying to tell them to work together. They wanted to ignore everything. They was arguing about stuff instead of sitting down and trying to figure stuff out and, work as a team.
He was playing like RPG.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how it was. They was like, okay, no, you're not supposed to do this. This is how you usually do it. They were trying to kill that one skeleton guy thing, and then the shield hero
skeleton thing, and then like you had the tentacles. Yeah, like one, I think it was the sword hero was fighting the tentacles. Well, no, the sword hero was fighting the skeleton. The spear hero was fighting tentacles that was coming on the ship, and the bow hero was on the ground shooting at the front of the ship or something, trying to destroy that. And then the shield hero gets on the ship, tells Raptalia to use some light magic, sees the shadow thing that they need to attack, and he attacks it, and then it brings out this ghost thing. He goes into rage mode and puts it in an Iron Maiden.
Yep. That was cool. Yeah, I seen that shit, I was like, all right, boy, all right.
Yeah, that was nice. And then they fight Glass, which is a hero from a different dimension or something like that. Mm-hmm. They fight Glass. She ends up whooping all their butts. Basically knocks out the other three, the bow, the sword, and the spear, just right off tops. I almost called him Asta. Neofume and his group was able to keep up with her for a little bit, but she ends up wiping the floor with them, but they get away in time. Basically they get away, but they lead her, take her attention away from everyone else, which comes up later because they felt, I think one of them felt like he left them behind when they were supposed to be working. Like, you preached to us of working as a team and then you left us behind. And it was like, well, technically you guys were knocked out and she was trying to kill him. So he took her attention away from you guys while the countdown went off. And then when the countdown went off, he had to go back.
He just can't catch it. He just he just can't catch a break at all. Like the whole season, the whole anime is like him not catching a break until the end. Yeah. Basically, that shit. Yeah.
And so then with all that, you have the blah blah blah. Sorry, you have the secret organization, which isn't really a secret organization. It's the Church of the Three Heroes working against him. in the background, even though he doesn't know it just yet. And technically, the Pope. Well, I just spoiled that. I was trying to wait for later, but the Pope basically is trying to oust all the heroes, basically, and become the one hero with this magical item that's supposed to replicate all the heroes' powers, but it takes too much mana to control it. But it's basically any fanatic you've ever seen. The Pope was a terrible villain, in my opinion. He was like any villain fanatic, like every one of them I've ever seen. Like even down to his speeches. God will smite thee, and
It was kind of bad.
You are in the presence of God. God has mercifully granted. It's like, dude, really? Get out of here with that. But anyways, you had that going on, and the heroes still not getting along. Come to find out, the Queen sent the younger sister of Malty. I can't remember her name off the top, so I don't feel like looking it up again. Mm-hmm. Just call her the second princess, because that's what Naofume calls her for most of the time they're together until like towards the end. Basically sends her to try to get everything in order, because they know that they need all 4 heroes in order to defeat the waves. And so basically they try to frame Naofume for killing the second princess, but he saves her life, and so they try to frame him for kidnapping her, going so far as to edit, like, I guess, video. Like they captured video and then edited it down, it to make it look like instead of the guards were trying to kill the princess, that they were trying to save the princess, and they were attacked and was killed, even though they didn't kill anybody. And so that was all being done by the church. I'm trying to rush through this. I was trying not to go over an hour, but we're already at 52 minutes. Fast forward, you got a bunch of episodes of them doing different, like trying to get away, trying to figure out what's going on, trying to get to the border, across the border. Then Malty ends up trying to kill her sister, basically, and try to make it look like the shield hero did it, and that kind of piques the suspicions of the sword hero and the bow hero, even though they should have already had the suspicions peaked. The spear hero is still a freaking idiot. They end up trying to, the shield hero Naofume tells the sword hero and the bow hero to investigate the church, pretty much. They end up fighting a T-Rex in one episode. I thought that was pretty funny. And then they find the actual Filial Queen, who I guess fought alongside the shield hero previously, the previous shield hero. That's what I take from it, even though she couldn't remember which hero it was that she fought alongside of. But I would believe that it would have been the not original, but the previous shield hero that everyone reveres, or all the demi-humans revere. What do you think?
I think so too, because she was like, I remember they were like in the scenery. She was telling them, okay, if you guys can't work together, then I'm just gonna have to kill all of you. And then she like laid her head on his lap, and then he like touched her head pad or whatever, and she was like, this kind of, I think she was thinking out loud, and it was like being viewed to the audience. And I think she was like, this reminds me of someone. And then they like didn't show his face; they showed his back and her laying down on his lap, and it kind of looked like the shield hero, but I'm not really too sure. But I'm just gonna say that her former owner was a shield hero. Yeah. That's how the filial thing, whatever they're called. That's how she became the queen, because a hero was raising. Yeah. Yeah.
So that's how Philo is Philo, right?
Philo. Yeah.
Philo That's why Philo became the little girl, and she was eventually gonna be the Rodeo Queen was freaking huge.
She gave her the queen gave her a cowlick,
Yeah,
the little thing on her head. Yeah, that
it's a
boosted her
crown.
power or whatever.
Yeah. And so then after that, Fume promises to at least attempt to work it out. Then he actually walks up to the spear hero, and well, she transports him. They're supposed to be in the vicinity of a hero. Come to find out, it's the spear hero. The other two are off trying to investigate the church and what's going on. The church ends up trying to kill the other two heroes, the sword and the bow. And the spear hero thinks that they're dead and that the shield hero somehow killed both of them.
Mm-hmm.
He gets blamed for that too. He's trying to explain to the spear hero that he didn't kill anybody. He didn't kill them. He was like, why would I kill them? We need them to defeat the wave. So why in earth would I kill them? Which to me, I thought was like, you got to be the biggest dummy
Idiots, man.
out of anybody. That's when another moment where I almost stopped watching. It's like, you are a moron, because out of everybody, it's clear to see that he hates you the most. He hates you the most. He don't like the other two, but he hates you. Wouldn't you think he tried to kill him first?
Right, exactly.
And he hasn't tried to kill you. You guys have been chasing him through the woods. When did he have time to kill the other two heroes by himself? He didn't have any time. Like, you guys have been chasing him through the woods. Y'all accused him of raising a T-Rex and doing this and doing that. And it's like, did you ask to see the bodies of this sword hero and the bow hero? No, you didn't. Did you ask where they were killed? No, you didn't. You didn't do any of that. You just took someone else's word for it.
Just like he did basically the whole time. It was just the princess leading them on, and then they was both being manipulated by the Pope, I guess, and then it was just
No. Oh, well, yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
They were being manipulated.
They were being manipulated, but the princess was also manipulating too. She was trying to manipulate the situation, so like I said, so she can become the next in line.
And then her dumbass found out that, oh my God, we've been betrayed. You didn't even know you were being manipulated the whole time.
So, we'll get to how she finds out. But, so then the Pope comes down and tries to smite them all with a blast from the heavens and whatnot. And you got this giant group of churchgoers and believers who believe that he's the demon or something like that, and
would lay down their lives for the cause. I was like, bruh.
Oh, that's a little much to be asking me, bro. But that fight scene started off okay, and then it progressed too long, and then it ended really well. Like, there was a lot of talking. Like, they would, like, do one move, like he would shoot off a laser beam or something, and Fume would block it or something, and then they'd stand there and they'd talk to each other for like 10 minutes while he recouped his powers. It was like,
I was like, bro, what are you doing?
Yeah, I keep throwing stuff at the freaking shield. You just found out that the shield is basically being powered by mana from all these other people, so keep attacking the shield and attacking their mana and knock it down. But y'all just standing there and talking to each other until he builds up enough strength to attack again, and that was annoying. Then the sword hero and the bow hero jump in. You already knew they weren't dead, but they explain what happened, and finally the spear hero kind of I was manipulated.
Right.
So then they end up working together to fight this dude, and he puts him in a what did he call it? A temple or something made of mana. The queen shows up with her posse. They basically arrest the people outside, but she freezes him from outside of the temple thing that they put up, and it was like, how is that possible? Nothing should be able to penetrate this.
I actually thought it was the part where the Pope died and Fumi killed him.
There.
And I like that.
I was getting there. And so then Naofume does this move where he like basically, to explain Naofume's demon thing, like the first time he does it, it like feeds, the curse feeds off of his anger. And so it is his feeling of loneliness. And so it took Raphtalia each time basically, except for this last time, it took all of them to break him out of that, to where then now he's in control. He can still use the powers, but he's in control of it. He's not trying to just murder everybody. So the second time I think is when he has the dragon, and the dragon's actually at that point is talking into his ear, just murder everything, kill everybody. And he ends up burning Raphtalia. This last time it took Raphtalia, Philo, and the second princess to kind of hold him back because he was going nuts again. But this time it like covered his whole body in like this badass looking armor. And he does this spell where it basically took his, like, it injured him, which is, typical RPG spell. You give up some of your health to do massive damage to the enemy. So it basically like freaking like cut into him all over his body and bled him, and then it like summoned this giant metal freaking dragon thing that ate the Pope. It was if you haven't seen that, or I'm pretty sure if you've watched this far, or if you, like I said, it was spoilers. So if you haven't seen it, go check that, at least that scene out. That was pretty dope. And so it pretty much puts Naofume on bed rest for a couple of days after that. But comes to light, we get to the trial, because now the queen is there and she knows everything that's been going on because she's had her spies watching everything. And so the trial, they put not a curse mark, but a slave mark tat on the king and the first princess. And everything comes to light. Like, the only thing that she told the truth about was that she was working with the three-hero church, that she wasn't working with them to overthrow the kingdom. That was the only thing that she told the truth about. Everything else she lied about. It was funny.
It was shocking.
Huh?
It was shocking.
Did she lie? I thought it was funny.
No, it was shocking her.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it was
every time she would lie, it would electrocute her, which she deserved. But
I enjoyed it.
But it was funny because the Spear Hero, now, granted, she is in the Spear Heroes party. And I guess she has a thing for the Spear Hero. But the Spear Hero is upset with the queen, the mom. Like, why would you put a slave tat on her? That's going too far. And the queen tells him, because my daughter is a pathological liar. This is straight up. My daughter is a pathological liar. She lies all the time. And so the Shield Hero can't believe that she's been lying about everything. They have him put a special slave tat on her as well, and he brings up the whole how she ended up in it, because she was in this party originally. Then no one went into Naofume's party, and she goes into Naofume's party, and then the whole rape thing happened. She called the Spear Hero, claimed that she was so afraid. So this whole time he's been played for a dummy, even though it was a thing he should have seen a mile coming. Coming from a mile away, I should say. He finds out that she had been basically lying to him the whole time. Mm-hmm. Even though he's at fault for all of it. And then the Shield Hero goes off, even though it wasn't the first time. Actually, when they was fighting the Pope, he goes off on all of them. about how they treated this whole situation like it was nothing more than a video game, and how their mistakes caused bring pain to others. Like the bow hero overthrew a government in a village or a region or whatnot, and when he overthrew that region, the people that he helped overthrow it came in and was worse than the government he overthrew, and the shield hero had to clean that mess as well. So he kind of goes off on him again after the trial, and then the king, like I brought it up before, he was probably the only one who had a reason to hate the shield hero, and it has something to do with a family that he lost or something like that. Maybe when he was a child from the previous shield hero, but it's never elaborated on. Like, they don't explain outside of, he doesn't want to lose his family again because of actions the shield hero takes or something like that. So he actually believes that the shield hero is evil. The daughter was just using the dad's hate for the shield hero to try to exceed her rank in life. But they get sentenced to death, and Naofume really doesn't want them to die. It's like any shonen, basically, like oh no, don't murder the two assholes who have been assholes to me the whole time. So he saves them, and by saving them, he said that instead of killing them, let them live out the rest of their days, but just change their name. So the daughter's name went from Malty to Bitch. And what was the king's name?
Trash.
And the king was Trash. So you had funny. Bitch and Trash. That was hilarious. But he basically did it because he figured that the queen, even though they were assholes and the king had a reason to be an asshole. Granted, you don't know the actual reason why, but he had some type of reason. The daughter really didn't. The queen still, that was her family. Mm-hmm. So he didn't realize that. So he was like, I don't want to force her to kill her own family, So then you move on to what I thought was going to be like the end of the season right there after that. You move on to them going off to train on an island where they get double XP and they can level up faster. And we meet two new heroes from a different dimension. We are going super far into this, Justin. That is beyond what I expected. That's all season one.
There's only one season. The other two are confirmed, but they're not out yet.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's all in season one. I'm trying to move fast because we're already over an hour.
Oh, really?
Yeah, this is going to be hard to edit at that point. Right. So, we still haven't gotten to verdicts or anything in the animation style, nothing. We've just basically been talking about
We'll shortly get to that, though. It's all right. We'll be all right.
So, anything you want to touch on?
Nah,
I'm
not going to give my take on the whole anime until we're actually at the end. Yeah. I got everything. Well, I wouldn't say everything, but I'm pretty sure I got most of what I wanted to talk about out there. So.
Okay. So then we get to they own the island. Basically, you don't know that they are two heroes from a different dimension. They befriend Naofume. He actually grows out of all the people there. He actually grows to trust those two and like them,
Actually, I actually found confusing, like, how the hell are they there without the wave being shown up?
I don't know.
I didn't understand that shit either, like, because they were fighting other worlds and they were mad because the wave continues on in their world. And it was just confusing, like, what are you doing there then? Why don't you just come here if you're so,
I don't know.
So bad.
That was kind of confusing because you do see them before where they go back to Raphtalia's village. They were passing through, and you can see them there too. And then they meet again on the boat, and then on the island. Yeah, so you are right. I don't know how because the other chick couldn't be there after the wave ended. Like, she had a certain amount of time and she had to go back to wherever the hell she came from. So I don't know. Maybe they'll explain it in season 2 or something.
Hopefully, because I need some explanations.
Yeah, because that was kind of confusing. I didn't really think about that though. Now that you said that, that is confusing as shit. Mm-hmm. But then they find out that there's a dragon hourglass under the water where they're at, and that's counting down. Another wave hits out of the blue they didn't even know about, and they're fighting on the water, which I thought was a pretty dope battle scene. And then you come to find out that these two are actually, working with whoever Glass is working for, whatever world they're all friends basically. They all know each other. They all working together. And this time though, Glass can't body Naofume and company like she did the first time. They was actually bodying her butt. So they end up winning. They end up I think what happened? The queen did something.
Yep, it was wine.
Yeah.
Got her drunk.
Yep. Got her drunk. It was funny. The only one who could hold their liquor was the one person who don't drink. Think about it. Naofume don't drink. He literally in episode 1 says, "I don't drink." But the little pellets that they used to make the wine is like supposed to be so concentrated that they have to literally dilute it with like a crap ton of water and other things just to make it drinkable. And he's able to just pop them in his mouth.
I was like, we was able to do that shit.
Yeah. And not feel the effects of alcohol at all. So
that would actually suck. I'm not gonna lie.
So that was pretty cool. And so that's pretty much how it ends. I mean, there's some like little filler ending stuff at the end, and they're going to basically going to the country we was talking about earlier. We couldn't remember the name to, where they worship the shield hero. You find out that there's 4 different nations or whatnot, and each nation was supposed to summon a hero, but the nation Meltramark is the nation the king summoned all the heroes there.
Yeah, they were basically greedy assholes.
Yeah. So they were supposed to be summoned individually at the other kingdoms. So that wraps up basically the story overview that took us over an hour to get to.
Yes, and bear with us. This is our first time, and I know we haven't touched base with a lot of stuff, like, all that, how the race with Philo and all that other stuff. I remember a lot of that stuff. So
yeah, I remember it too, but I'd skimmed over a lot of stuff that it was kind of like, it's relevant, but it's not really relevant, especially, it's just an overview. Watch the anime, actually, go watch it. It's pretty good. Yeah. Anyways, voice acting. Now, did you watch the dub or the sub?
I always watch sub. I don't watch, the English dub. I don't know why. And it's not because of the trend on social media. I just can't watch English. It's like, I know it doesn't, either way won't match the words won't match the lips. I just can't do English dub at all.
It's funny you bring that up, because I just had this conversation with your mom last night. Again, I mentioned this earlier, I'm a Naruto guy. But when I started watching Naruto, they didn't have the English dub.
Same here.
So all they had was the sub. And then when the dub came along, I could not watch the dub at all, because the voices, to me, didn't sound right. And Naruto in English is way more annoying than Naruto in Japanese. I'm just put it like that. It was more, his voice was more annoying in English than it was in Japanese. And I always just watched the sub, and then your mom actually got me to the point where I got used to watching the dub, because that's all she watched. It was the dub version. So for me right now, I guess watching the dubs are easier than watching the subs, simply because I got other things that I'm doing as I'm watching it. So, um, so you said you watched the sub. Well, I didn't watch the sub. So, how was the voice acting when you're in?
It was pretty good. It's just I really don't know how the English sounds, so it's normal to me. So I just sounded normal. It's all right.
I'm gonna say, for the most part, the voice acting was really good, top notch. There wasn't too many times where I felt like, because sometimes in anime the way the characters are written and then the way that they act or the way the voices come out can sometimes be overbearing, and obnoxious. But there wasn't too many times where it felt like that.
I like Austin.
Austin, yeah. Austin can be like that a lot. Like, it was like, dude, really, calm down. You yell too much.
Mm-hmm.
But Naruto was like that too. Like I said, that's another one where I'm watching it and I'm kind of preferring the Japanese dub, or not dub, but the Japanese or the English sub over the English dub, because Asa can be freaking annoying. Him and what's the one who throws the fire baseballs?
Oh, I don't know his name. Magma,
yeah, something like that. Yeah, he can. Both of them yell too much. But
him and Luck are annoying as hell. But
no, I actually like Luck.
No, I don't like him at all. He's like, because why are you not sad every time? Like, give me some emotion, all right? But I already know his back pass. I don't know why we're Mr. Like,
hold up.
We're totally off track.
But hold up. I think you got your characters mixed up.
No. Luck, the dude with the lightning.
Yeah, he's never sad.
Yeah, I know. I don't know why he's not. Some emotion, give me like, bro. Actually, I do know why, but like, bro, come on, bro.
Because he always wants to. I think the only time, episode 5, where he literally was like, everyone was like, don't, like, look, I know what you're thinking. Don't attack him. And Luck's like, I know what you guys think that I'm gonna do, but for the first time, I'm scared, basically.
Yeah,
I don't want to fight that guy. There you go, emotion. But anyways, back to the anime that we're actually slaying today. Yeah, like I said, the voice acting was actually really, really good. It immersed me in the world and in the characters. I mean, the Shield Hero sounded like what he acted like. A prick. An idiot.
the Spear Hero? The Spear?
Did I say, what did I say?
You said the Shield. I was
I'm
like,
sorry.
hold on.
The Spear Hero sounded like he acted. He was a prick and he was an idiot and he sounded like it. The Malty, the first princess, she sounded how she acted. A manipulative bitch. The king was overbearing, and like I said, I think out of all the voice actors, the only one I didn't like, and it was not the fault of the actual voice actor, it was the Pope. Because, like I said, the Pope sounded like, look up any fanatic, any movie that has a religious fanatic in it. And that's what the Pope sounded like. All of them. The little stuff I did earlier when I'm like, God will smite you, and all, that's what he sounded like. For real. But, so yeah, the voice acting, mwah. And let's go to the animation. What do you think?
Yeah, it was definitely good. It really attracted me when he was like, this is the first episode. He was sitting like, I think it was the first or second episode, but he was like sitting on a tree or like sitting down and leaning against the tree in the shadowing. I was like, this is actually pretty good, man. He had the little monsters, and I was like, it was pretty good. The animation for the maiden, what's that?
The Iron Maiden.
The Iron Maiden. It was CGI. I think it wasn't a CGI. Yeah, it was alright. Alright. That's the only, like, I don't really like CGI, but it's necessary for anime, so I guess if I were to put it on a scale, I'd say it's definitely an 8. I'll give it an 8. 1 out of 10.
This is where me and you differ. I thought some of the fight scenes were really good. I thought a lot of the animations were really good and well done. But what kept throwing me out was the 3D. There was a lot of 3D in this anime. Was it CGI, 3D?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of when.
There was
I can't remember that a lot of
actually
CGI.
the Iron Maiden was the best use of it, and was the best looking one. Like the actually in that same wave battle, the ship was 3D and CGI for a minute. There was a lot of it. Like even when they first brought in the cathedral thing, that was CG'd. There was a lot of it in it, and it threw me off because it took, you got like this beautifully drawn or computer drawn or however they did it, I don't know. But it's beautifully drawn, and then you go into like this 3D animation type CGI, and it's like the colors are off. And some of the lines are off, and it just, so I'm not gonna go 8. If you take out the bad CG, it's easily a 9, a 9 to a 10, because the emotions on the faces, you actually could see what every individual felt in that moment, that they talking however. But then you throw in that bad CG for me, and I have to knock it down to at least 7.
I told you it's just the CGI. It's just like that's why it's like I'm not gonna knock it all the way down. It's still gonna be an 8 for me, but just like I feel like CGI is necessary, so I can't really defame an anime because of the CGI, because I don't know no anime. I don't believe I watched anime without CGI. I think it's just
but I've seen
necessary.
CGI done better. Is what I'm saying. In anime before, I've seen it done better.
Speaking of CGI, I'm still gonna let you watch Overlord. There's a lot of CGI in that, but yeah, I'm
not saying that CGI doesn't have a place. I'm just saying in this anime, with how well it was just hand drawn or however they drew it, when they threw in that CGI, it messed it like. How can I put this? It took me out of the immersion of the show. Because it was like it was glaring. It was like glaring it's like watching Black Panther. Black Panther's a prime example of this. You ever see the movie Black Panther?
Yeah, of course I've seen it.
You remember the end when the two Panthers are fighting each other?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's CGI. Where it's just glaringly that is definitely CGI. And then you like mix that with Spider-Man Far From Home, where it's like, yeah, I can kind of tell that CGI, but it's not glaring that's CGI. Even though technically it's supposed to be, you're supposed to be able to tell that it's CGI, but it's not like a glaring thing where it's like, oh my goodness, that's terrible. And don't get me wrong, I love Black Panther. I bought it. I've seen it in the theaters twice, and I own the 4K Blu-ray. All right, day one. The ending CGI horrible. Threw me all out of that fight scene. But anyway, back to this anime. So yeah, that CGI was just, like I said, it's a 7 for me. It just threw me off. It was bad. What else? Okay, so we talked about the plot and the story. What would you rate that one?
Plot. Oh man, I just couldn't get over where he just can't catch a break. All right, it's just like everybody's on him. Everybody's against him. But when he cleared his name, I love that part, because I knew eventually he was gonna get his name cleared, and I was like, yes, finally, I felt his happiness. Because, like I said, I always see myself in the character. What I didn't like was how the way they were just like ganging up against him. That irritated me mostly, right? And I was just like, Brad, like, come on, find some different ways to get at him. Find some different types of ways to like, you know, be angry at him, not just for no dumbass reasons. And it was just like, oh my god, why is the spear hero so idiotic? But I'd really say, man, I'm gonna give that a 7. Yeah, that is a 7. Because I'm still confused on how the two people are in the world where they were basically fighting against, you know, but in the other girl Glass, she had a time limit and left. It's just like there's some things that need to be explained. So yes, I give it a 7.
All right. So for me, if you take the way it started off for me, because I'm sorry, I still can't get over that. If you had asked me within the first 30 minutes of how I felt about that show, I would have gave it a 2. That's how much that pissed me off. And then after that, once it picked up and everything, you know, it's like, okay, now we're rolling, now we're seeing how this world actually is. It jumped up to me a bunch of spots. It jumped up to, I wouldn't say, because it engrossed me, so I would give it a 9. So let's say, we're doing this on a scale of 1 to 10, right? So I'm a dock up, if I start off at a 10 at the beginning of the show, then I've knocked it down to a 2, so it lost 8 spots. I'm going to give it another, let's see, I'm going to give it 7 spots. So that puts it back at a 9 for how it picked up. All right. So then I'm going to take off a point for the spear hero being a freaking child pervert. I'm sorry, that still rubbed me the wrong way. So that knocks it to an 8. And I'm going to... And then the plot holes. Because there was I'm not going to say there's a lot of plot holes, but you brought in the plot holes that I forgot about. Like, I forgot about that plot hole, the two heroes. Mm-hmm. So I'm with you about a 7 or an 8. I'll go 7. Yeah. So like I said, the way that it treated me like an idiot to begin with, and then the pervertedness with the children's and the plot hole, yeah, it's about a 7 for me. And that sucks because now granted, the 7's not a bad score. It's still a really good story.
That's why it's getting more seasons. Yeah,
it's still a really good story, but it was just some things that rubbed me the wrong way. Like the spear hero was probably the worst. Like, I could deal with the lying bitch, which is actually, I can say that because it's his name, and the trash king. Because, like I said, the trash king has a reason. They explain that he does have a reason for not liking the shield hero, therefore going along with, and he became easy to be manipulated by the Church of the Three Heroes because he already has a grudge against the shield hero for something that happened previously. They just don't explain what that thing is that happened previously. The daughter, she also has a reason for not liking the shield hero because she's using that to try to, raise her rank in life, so she's playing that. Everybody else has no reason not to like this guy outside of the fact that she screamed rape, but then eventually, especially like the sword and the bow, who I thought were like the smarter of the trio, the out of the spear, the sword and the bow, I thought the sword and the bow were smarter. You guys should, especially after the fight, should have been able to see that she's a manipulator and something was wrong, and maybe he did not do what they claiming that what they're claiming. So I thought that they would have treated him a little better, but like I said, the spear hero was a moron, and he just rubbed me completely the wrong way. He was a moronic pervert, and that's bad. Like, 'cause I love Master Roshi. I loved Jiraiya. Jiraiya is probably my favorite character in Naruto. And they're both perverts. But they keep their pervertedness to a certain age.
And to a certain extent. But
Yeah.
It's
This guy, like I said, like, if you haven't seen the show and you like, wow, what? When I say that this girl looked like she was 5, maybe 6, with angel wings, and he's basically hitting on her like she's a grown woman. Yeah, 7. I'm gonna keep it there. 7. 7. Yeah. So overall, you're giving an overall score.
oh yeah. Okay. Man, okay, so I love Isekai animes. Loved how it started. And just the character. I like the character development. That was great, all right? And I think a lot of people would agree on me when I say this. Even, and it's, again, there's confirmed. Season 2 and 3 is confirmed. Like, how do you confirm a season 3 too? Like, you know it's good. And it's just like, overall, it's just like, it's really stuck between a 7 and an 8, but I think I'm gonna give it an 8, man. I'm gonna give it an 8.
Let's see. So I gave the animation. What did I give that?
You gave that an 8, I think.
An 8. Animation 8. Story a 7. I gave the sound probably a 9. The voice acting a 9. Now I guess you gotta add like sound in that too, like the overall, music score and stuff. Yeah, that was a 9 for me. I'm gonna give it a 8. I'm with you about an 8. Like I said, it's just some things that if they can clean up in the second season for me, would push this. This easily could have been a 9. Like, clean up the CGI, please. I can deal with the spear hero being an idiot. It is what it is. There's plenty of idiots in anime where I'm like, dude, you're a moron. He's just probably one of the worst examples of it. Like, honestly. And pervert. Like, he's a moronic pervert. And it's like, pick one or the other. Be a moron or be a pervert. And if you're going to be a pervert, keep your pervertedness to people that are 18 and above. Please, not 15 and below. Like, it just pains me. Because, like I said, this could have easily been a 10. I was, like, it jumped from, like I said, from a 2. It was in the first 30 minutes. If I would rate this based on the first 30 minutes, I would have gave this easily a 2. I would have hated it. Had I shut it off after the first 30 minutes that I watched, you couldn't have told me anything about it. I was like, this anime is terrible. I'm glad that I sat through. I'm glad that I watched it all the way through. It could have, like I said, it went from a 2 straight back up to a 9 for me within the first episode. So up and down, like Ray says, the character development you see, especially from Naofume. He is a really good protector. Like, he goes from being pretty much an idiot too, because like I said, they tried to paint him off as an idiot to begin with and weak. And he goes from being this weak character to growing, not just in strength, but as a person, I think, as well. Because he could have easily fell into the same category as the other 3, and, he didn't. So, wow, we're already an hour and 30 minutes long, so we're going to call it a night.
I think I'm falling asleep with my eyes open too. Like,
we're filming this like really late. It's like 1 something in the morning right now. Huh?
It's 2:40.
Oh, it's 2:40 in the morning. I didn't even realize it was that late. So, yeah, we're going to have to pick a better time next time to record this. But I was trying to catch this busy man. And he constantly at work. So, and then come next week, I'm going to be at work. But, hey, it is what it is. We get it done, we get it done. Hopefully next time we have a better accommodation so you're not looking at my messy kitchen.
Window, never staring at me, but yeah, basically.
All right. Well, again, when do they announce when season 2's coming?
Nope. It's
just been.
I thought it was supposed to be this year, but coronavirus, I think. So I'm gonna just say that I haven't looked at it for a few months because I don't do that with a lot. After I realized, like, if I finish anime, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna search it up immediately. When season 2, like all anime users do, or all anime watchers do.
Yeah, I did that.
Yep, everybody does that. They'll be like, when season 2? Like, when is it coming out? If it doesn't say it's confirmed, or if it says confirmed, I'm gonna be like, okay, I'm not gonna keep checking up on it. I'm gonna just let it pop up.
Oh yeah,
because there's new anime that's coming out. So yeah, I'm gonna be watching that until then.
Oh, I know one. Just quick side note. I wonder if they're doing another season of Castlevania.
Yeah, there they are. Yep.
Okay, cool.
Definitely.
That's another one I'm waiting on. And One Punch Man.
I don't know about
Season
One Punch
3.
Man. I don't know about that. I don't think that's confirmed at all, actually.
No, it was.
Oh, really? Oh, okay. That's sweet.
I think Hulu got him for at least two seasons. And from what I heard about the actual manga, where they fighting God and stuff like that.
Hold up. We spoil this for other people, but don't spoil it for me. We good. I don't know. I don't want to hear no spoilers for Saitama, who he fights. We good.
I didn't say they fought him. I said they were supposed to be fighting.
Oh, okay.
You know.
You said manga. Every time you bring up manga, there's always spoilers.
Oh, I did. Yeah, manga. Because I was listening to someone talk about it. You know, I didn't bring up the Hulk because I didn't know anything about it. It was just like in the middle of some fight and this was happening, that was happening. It was like, oh, okay, that's pretty cool. I guess it's supposed to be a continuation from the whole Monster Hero Academy thing, Uprising or something. Yeah, crazy. But man. So you got any ideas for the next one? Because I know that I'm still trying to polish off season 5 of Black Clover. Then you said Overlord. And then we got another one. Yeah, we got some more coming your way, so don't worry.
Overlord is definitely rated, so if you're going to tune into that, make sure you be aware. Because, yeah, definitely not for children.
Nah. So we're going to call it right there. Have a good night, everybody. This has been Ray. I'm Jay. And we just slayed this anime. Good night.
Don't want no drama, don't want no drama. I'm counting honest, blue face, big honest.